out of Maryland, where a military jet has crashed. The aircraft is an F-16, and the pilot has ejected. CBS News transportation correspondent Kris is on the phone with us now. So, Kris, what do we know?
Well, Vlad, that's pretty much what we know at this point. It was an F-16 from the D.C. National Guard. They are based out of Joint Base Andrews. That's where Air Force One is kept, for example. It's not very far outside of D.C. proper. This plane went down this morning. The pilot ejected, we understand, may have suffered some non-life-threatening injuries, but that's not unheard of when you eject from an airplane. So, and it appears, based on the pictures we've seen so far, that the plane went down in a wooded area. So it did not go down in any of the residential areas, best we can tell, right around Joint Base Andrews there. So that is some good news. The pictures we're seeing from the scene right now also seem to point us in the direction of a wooded area as opposed to a neighborhood. So that's good news for people on the ground. Fire crews still responding. You have to be careful with how you respond to these types of plane crashes because the fuel can be hazardous, and you don't necessarily know what's on board that airplane right away as far as munitions and things. So, you want to make sure that you contain a fire and proceed with caution from there, and that's sort of where we are at this point.
So, Kris, a couple of details that might interest our audience. F-16s are generally flown by the Air Force, is that correct? And generally, these are single-seater aircraft, although I know that there are some variants that have two seats in them. What do we know about that?
Yeah, the F-16 is an Air Force, U.S. Air Force asset. In this case, it's the Air National Guard, based out of the D.C. Air National Guard, which is based out of Joint Base Andrews. It is typically a one-seat airplane unless it is a trainer, and then it may have two seats, but typically it is a single-pilot airplane. And then we know that this came out of Joint Base Andrews. We know it's a D.C. National Guard unit, and it was on a training mission, according to David Martin at the Pentagon. So this was not one of the post-9/11 security flights that the D.C. National Guard also flies. This was a training mission, and these pilots train every day that they're working. So we see these planes up in the air over the D.C. metro area fairly often. The F-16 is a pretty reliable aircraft for the Air Force. It's been in service for years. It has been used in combat operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. And, it is a workhorse of the Air Force and the Air National Guard fleet.
So then in terms of the investigation into what happened moving forward, will the FAA get involved, or is this primarily a military investigation?
It's primarily a military investigation. The FAA may send an investigator, but, the military, the Air Force will investigate this crash and be lead on that. Local first responders will handle the investigation on the ground and may secure the scene until the military takes over. But this is pretty firmly in military jurisdiction when it's a military aircraft and a solo crash like this.
All right. Transportation correspondent Kris, we appreciate it. Thank you.